What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Monday afternoon so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm just bringing you a couple of news and notes surrounding the New York Mets as they continue their spring training schedule right now. And they are in the middle of playing a game this afternoon against the Houston Astros. Now, some of the news that's been dropping around the New York Mets. Mets co-ace Justin Verlander, whom was signed by the New York Mets this offseason to a 2-year, $86 million deal, will make his New York Mets debut on Saturday when the team travels down to Jupiter, Florida to take on the Miami Marlins. The game is set to start at 1:10 p.m. and can be seen on MLB TV. Max Scherzer will start the game on Friday, so you're going to get Scherzer and Verlander back-to-back on different days, giving the Mets fans their first chance to see the future Hall of Famers pitch back-to-back. And Verlander says he plans to use his changeup more this season. Take note of that, very interesting. He plans on using that changeup a lot more this year than he has previously, after the pitch had been kind of hidden in the repertoire in recent seasons. So he's planning on putting out that changeup a lot more this season than he has been previously. The veteran threw the pitch only 2.4% of the time in the 2022 Major League Baseball season and hasn't thrown it more than 10% since 2014 when he was with the Tigers. So he hasn't used this pitch in almost 9 seasons. And he's planning on using it a lot more in 2023. That's going to be very interesting. Maybe because he's going to try to count a little bit more on his movement with his baseball than he has been previously, as he's trying to go more with like speed pitches and fastballs, curveballs, changeups. So it's very interesting that he's going to start bringing the changeup in a lot more. So, I'm very excited to see what Justin Verlander is going to do in his first start with the New York Mets. Obviously, and I just saw on CBSSports.com, right now they project the New York Mets as the number 1 Major League Baseball starting rotation going into the season this year. That's very interesting that they have the New York Mets starting rotation as the number 1 rotation in Major League Baseball. And a lot of it has to do with the hype surrounding Verlander and Scherzer, because of how good the two of them are and how good the two of them have been. And obviously the hype surrounding Kodai Senga, and because both Carlos Carrasco and Jose Quintana have both been frontline starters before in Major League Baseball, and they're hoping and waiting to see if these guys can continue to show out during the Major League Baseball season. So I'm very interested by that. I am. I didn't think that the New York Mets would have the number 1 starting rotation, but I guess because a lot of people are counting on both Scherzer and Verlander to have big bounce back seasons and have great seasons in 2023, that's probably why. They're right now buying into the hype surrounding Kodai Senga, and they believe the rest of the Mets starting rotation with veteran players like Carrasco and Quintana, and you have good, solid other pitchers like David Peterson and Tyler McGill that are used as extra pitchers going into the season. So I could see why the New York Mets are getting the type of hype that they are right now in the starting rotation. I don't know if I'd say they're number 1. I mean, you hear the Brewers, you hear the Braves, you hear the Phillies. The Yankees have been getting a lot of hype as a number 1 team. The Dodgers. But when you have 2 Hall of Fame pitchers like Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, who Scherzer was pitching really well before he got hurt, and Verlander had a terrific season last year with the Astros during their World Series championship, I can understand. Like I said, a lot of people are buying into Senga, and Carrasco and Quintana are still solid middle to end of the rotation guys, and McGill and Peterson are not bad. So I can understand why those guys get the hype they're getting. Also, one other quick note surrounding the New York Mets this spring training. Mets manager Buck Showalter said that third baseman Eduardo Escobar, who's primarily been playing third base for the most part during spring training, could play in a game on Tuesday, tomorrow, in left field, though he's not sure if it will be a Grapefruit League game or on the backfields in PortStLucie. The Mets say that they're putting Escobar in left field because Team Venezuela said that they might use the veteran infielder out there during the World Baseball Classic. And Escobar, over his career, has played 43 games in left field, with the most recent time being in 2017 with the Twins. That's very notable because Escobar is getting up there in age, and he has not played a game in left field since 2017 with the Minnesota Twins. That's almost 6 seasons ago when he was in his 20s. Now he's in his mid to late 30s. The only reason I say this, the only reason that this could happen, and I'll read on for the rest of it. Mets third base prospect Brett Baty is off to a strong start in camp after he's had 2 hits in an inter-squad game last week and then a home run on the first pitch he saw in the spring training game against the Astros. That's why. I think part of it is because of the fact that he's being used in the World Baseball Classic in left field by the Venezuelan team, but also, I think another reason why, they want to get Brett Baty more time at third base. Because they are really high on Baty at third. I think the New York Mets want to get Baty as much time as they can at third base, but because Escobar is right there at third base, they're going to try to keep rolling with Escobar at the moment until we get to the latter part of the season, until we get to the point where they cannot sit Baty. They have to play him. I think he might start the regular season down in the minor leagues in AAA Syracuse. But I would not be surprised eventually if Brett Baty is manning that hot corner for the New York Mets sometime during the beginning or throughout the rest of the 2023 season. We already seen the potential with this kid. First at bat last year with the New York Mets, he hit a home run. He's got a great swing, left-handed hitter, improving at third base. I think this kid has got the potential to be a star. But right now, he can't get the full complement of playing time because you have Escobar there at third base. But I find this very interesting that Buck Showalter says that he might experiment playing Escobar in left field. Now, obviously, right now, the starting left fielder for the New York Mets is Mark Canha. But you could argue right now, out of the 3 outfield spots, Canha is right now the weakest of the 3. Marte and Nimmo should be constants in the starting lineup for most of the season, if not a good chunk, pretty much all of it. Because Nimmo is coming off a very strong season, and Marte was the table setter at the top of the lineup along with Nimmo before he got injured in August with a fractured finger. Canha right now is coming off a very mixed bag in left field. And they also brought in Tommy Pham as a 4th outfielder. He might get playing time in left field. Could I see Escobar playing some time in left field this year? Absolutely. If they feel that Brett Baty is ready to take over at third base, that's exactly what they might do with Escobar. If he's playing well with the bat, throw him in left field, you put Baty at third base, and you strengthen that lineup and you sit Canha on the bench. But we'll have to wait and see what Showalter is going to do and mix and match. But that's just some of the news and notes I want to give you guys around the New York Mets. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets. And turn on that bell for the notifications the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. So I thank you very much, everybody, and I hope all you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go New York Mets. All you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.